Great. All right, I will call the meeting to order of the School Building Committee here on April 8th, 2024 at 7:04 p.m. We start, as with every meeting, with an opportunity for citizens speak. So at this time, if you are a member of the public and would like to be recognized for citizen speak, please use the icon to raise your hand. And then once I recognize you, you can unmute yourself. Just one more opportunity. If anybody would like to speak tonight, please raise your hand. Seeing no hands raised, I assume no one is here for public comments, so we will move on. Item 3, approval of past meeting minutes. So we sent out the meeting minutes for March 25th. Did everybody receive those? Does anybody have any edits or concerns with meetings? Seamus sent those out, right?
Yes.
If there are no concerns or suggested edits, I will take a motion.
Motion to accept meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
Start date and month and day.
March 25th.
March
25th. Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Great, thank you, Perry. All right, we will do a roll call vote since we are hybrid. Glenn?
Yes.
Perry?
Yes.
Tim?
I have to abstain. Thanks, Mark.
Aqua?
Abstain, I wasn't there.
And I am a yes. So they are approved. Item 4, old business. 4A is discussion of the land swap, and there's a discussion of the letter to the EEA. Sean O'Rourke wanted to be here for this discussion. He has probably more context to share. So unless anybody is opposed, we're going to jump over this one and come back to it. So that brings us to 4B, which is discussion update on education visioning. I guess I will turn it over to either you, Sean, or you, Peter, with any kind of update that either of y'all want to provide the group as to kind of how the conversations with the architects are going and the internal team regarding kind of education visioning.
Do you want me to start, or do you want Dr. Barros to start?
Whoever.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
I'll add flavor.
Great. So last week we had a couple days meeting with the design team and the educational planners. We had one day where we toured 2 different middle schools in Scituate and
East Weymouth.
East Weymouth. So we got an opportunity to go through 2 modern buildings to kind of get some ideas of how new buildings would be constructed and to see what you like about those buildings, what people didn't like about the buildings. And then we had a shadow day in Cunningham, Tucker, and Pierce, where we went through all the schools during a regular school day. We looked at the pre-K classrooms in Tucker and Cunningham and looked at how the middle school operates, and then sat down for the afternoon in Pierce to start talking about the new building and things they liked about the things that we saw on tour, things that we didn't like, and then really what is the educational vision, what's the vision for this building for Milton. So that's the first of a series of these visioning sessions. The next one is scheduled for April 26th. That's going to be a longer one from 9 to 2. And then there'll be another one on the 29th, which would be 9 to noon time. And the same thing, just building on that, the visioning, building on just information between the architect and the people who are planning the building to just to get some ideas in there, and so that the architects can start mapping out what needs to be included in the building, and to try to start kind of putting pen to paper and figuring out how everything fits together on the site. I think that's pretty concise update. So if Peter has anything to add, he can throw in some flavor now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I would add, in terms of the visits, they were really helpful in talking with the 2 different principals who led us around on those tours, just to get a sense, having lived in the building. One was just 1 year old, the other one was about 5 years old. So reflecting with them, and understanding what our needs are and digging deeper in terms of kind of the design decisions that they made, how those had played out over time, what they would do differently. That was really helpful. And then the follow-up conversation we had where we all came back together in Pierce at the end of our second day with the architects last week to kind of further refine what our needs are and really kind of what we're building towards. So I think it pushed us to start conversation probably in some ways that we haven't had yet. So I think it was helpful to get the ball rolling there, and we're working not just directly with the architects, but on our own as a leadership team to talk more about that kind of vision for the 7-8 school and what that means. And of course, that's also bringing into focus Pierce, right, and the 5-6 program too. So was at an Eclipse event over at Pierce this afternoon, and was talking with a few people about what a 5-6 could look like. So it's just we're just having these kind of conversations right now too, just to start to build out what that vision is. So yeah, it was exciting. I think there's been so much work over so much time, and it's feeling real now, and that was exciting. And talking to a lot of the leaders and other people on the visioning team.
Yeah, I'll just share as well. I was able to join the school site visits, and they were beautiful buildings. The East Weymouth one is massive, 1,500 kid middle school, but it was a cathedral, just very high ceilings, walkways, a gorgeous building. But it was interesting hearing from staff members, principals and others who just, like, as you're walking through, there's lots of flex space within these buildings, of like space that can be used for pull out that is not like maximized 24/7 within the school day. And just there was a common refrain amongst members of the kind of the Milton contingency. It was like, wow, I wonder what that was like to have just like space where you're not already crammed as many human beings as you can within it, where you have some flexibility within how you move people around. So, again, just for me, another highlight of like how important this work is to try and get some much needed educational programming space for our staff and faculty in how they support our students. Thanks to everyone who set that up. Anything else on the educational visioning, or Sean is now here, so.
I would say just thank you for everyone who participated and continues to participate. It is, the more people we can have to show up to these and the more information and input we can get from them, the better off we are. So we know it's a kind of it's a drain, and it's tough to carve out a time, but it is very important. So we just appreciate everyone's taking the time to do it.
Yep. Sean?
Hey, Mark. Sorry I was late. So just checking, do we actually have a quorum right now? I see Kerry is online, Glenn is online, I'm online, and you in person. I don't know if there's another person.
Yeah, we have Tim and Aqua here in person.
Okay, that's cool. Just making sure. Thank you.
I think we're actually done with 4B. So we had skipped over, Sean, 4A, the land swap, and 4AI. 4A1, the letter. So
yep.
Makes sense at this point. Why don't we jump back to that? Please take the floor.
Yeah, appreciate it. So yeah, the land swap's making its way through the legislation right now. It's made its way up, as I mentioned, I think at our last meeting, up to the Senate. It's had its second reading. It's due for a third. We were sent a letter, essentially from the lawyer that spoke at town meeting in May. It was a copy that was sent to the secretary. So I'm working with the town council right now for appropriate response to that one. So, with that, I'm just kind of opening up to the members to see if they have any questions. But essentially, the essence of the letter is everything that's been stated before, and that, we're basically crafting a response to that. So I just want to let everybody know.
Sean, are we obligated to respond to the letter?
Yeah. So Aqua, there's no reason to that we found that are infactual as part of the letter, we feel we should address. There's no threat of litigation, but essentially the letter is broken out into 4 points. And, within those points that they enunciate to the Secretary of Energy and Environmental Affairs, we just want to set, corrections to what the statements were.
Thank you.
Anything else for Sean on that? All right. Then Sean, I'll keep us moving forward if that's all right with you. We'll move on to
Yep. Please keep moving.
Item 4C, review and approve project invoices. So these were brought up at the last meeting. PMA's invoices for January and February. We don't have the invoice yet for March in front of us, but January, February, I know a question came up last time from Scott around the fees matching up, and again, can confirm based on the contract that the hourly rates that show up on the invoices match kind of what was shared within the contract and agreed to within the contract. So there any other questions about the invoices? Sean is here to answer them. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve them.
I can proffer a motion to approve them.
Thank you, Tim. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Carrie. All right, another roll call vote here. Glenn?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Sean?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Upple?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Let's approve those invoices. We are done with old business, moving right along into item 5, new business discussion updates. We have nothing here, but Sean, anything new business to share with us?
No, it is probably just something in regards to old business, in regards to the architect and Sean. Now, and I apologize, I wasn't able to attend the site visits, but I know with the architects right now, we're looking, or at least they presented 2 different options. So I'm assuming at our next meeting or the following coming meetings, we're going to start to kind of hone in, between option 1 or option 2.
You're breaking up a bit here, Sean, but I think we've generally got the gist of that. We'll chat at the next meeting kind of with the architects about the potential design options here with the campus approach or the consolidated approach, or anything else that maybe has come up within the educational visioning conversations and Air Street's churning over ideas.
Yeah, we did talk a little bit about the campus approach, and I don't think they realized how much Milton's pre-K uses the facilities within the building, even, it's using the lunchroom, using the gym, things like that. So it was good for them to kind of start the process and get an understanding of how the space was used. That's the point of this. So it was a great conversation. And then I'm not sure where it's going to leave them, if it makes sense to have a separate building, if they do use that, if they've used those facilities so much. So they're working on that now, and I think at the next meeting, we'll have some updates from them on that.
Great. Any other questions?
Sean mentioned 2 options. Have other team members seen the 2 options?
I think, yeah, I was in their presentation where they showed a conceptual massing graphic that had a physically separate building as opposed to one building, but a sort of carved out area of the building that would be dedicated to the early childhood education.
That's the presentation they made on the day we chose them.
Correct.
Okay, nothing new after that.
Yep. No.
Okay, just wanted to be sure.
Mm-hmm. Sean?
Yeah, nothing else on my end.
All right, we'll jump to item 6A, next SBC meeting. When is our next SBC meeting? We got them in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it should be 2 weeks, Mark.
Yes, so 22nd. And are we expecting, again, Air Street will be joining us on the 22nd?
Yes. They'll have one, They do have conflicts on Monday, so they said if they do, they'll likely call in and it would be Larry or Katie. Katie's on vacation this week, and Larry is stuck in traffic coming home from Vermont. Otherwise, he would have called in.
So they will always have a conflict with our in-person meetings?
It depends on the day of the week it falls on. They do have a general Monday conflict, but they have some Mondays open. So I'll confirm with them to see who's going to be here for the next meeting.
I think if they are remote, that any of our in-person folks should just go on the ground. The screen, I assume they're going to have some visuals to look at.
Okay.
Right, so maybe that's just something for us to notice, or Peter, maybe we can figure out how to connect to the TV screen so we can just have something for the in-person folks to see. All right, great. Any other questions about future meeting dates? Sean?
No questions.
I will then, we are on item 7, adjournment. I will take a motion.
I'll move a motion to adjourn the meeting for today to the future. Allow me to make motion.
Sure. Okay. Well, we'll adjourn the meeting.
I'll second Aqua's motion.
Good.
Great. Any final discussion? Sean, I see your hand up still. I don't know if that's left over.
No, on the app that I'm using, it looks like it's not raised, so I apologize if it's raised.
Just want to make sure.
Yep,
All right.
sorry about that.
No problem. No further discussion. We'll do a roll call vote. Sean, I'll start with you.
Yes.
Glenn?
Yes.
Harry?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Aqua?
Yes.
I'm a yes. It was a very short meeting. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the time back.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Good night, everyone.